The slap landed so hard it sounded like something breaking. For a split second, Maya Johnson didn't understand what had happened. Her head snapped to the side, curls flying, her cheek instantly on fire. The music stopped. Not slowly, not awkwardly. It just died like someone had cut the power to the entire room. 40 people froze. 40 conversations ended mid-word. An off-duty police officer stood inches from Maya, his hands still raised, his face flushed red beneath a crooked baseball cap with a police union logo stitched across the front. "Don't talk back to me," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Get out. Right now." Maya swallowed. Her emerald dress, picked carefully, ironed twice, meant to make her feel confident, now felt like a spotlight. She could feel eyes on her from every direction. Phones were already coming up. Someone gasped. Someone whispered her name. "You just assaulted me," Maya said. Her voice surprised even her. It was calm, clear. "You did that in front of witnesses." The officer laughed. A short, ugly laugh that carried authority and alcohol at the same time. "Witnesses," he said. "Sweetheart, I am the law." He shoved her. Maya stumbled backward and slammed into the wall. A framed photo behind her shattered on the floor, glass skidding across polished hardwood. The sound echoed louder than the slap. "Get out," he repeated, stepping closer. "Before I drag you out." No one moved. No one spoke. In that moment, Maya understood something she had been taught her whole life, but had never felt this sharply. The room was full of people, and she was still alone. What the officer didn't know was that the woman who taught Maya how to stand her ground had already been called. 3 hours earlier, everything had felt normal. The June heat had finally eased, replaced by a warm breeze that carried the smell of cut grass and flowers through the open windows of Marcus Brooks' family home. The house sat high on a quiet street in Bellevue Heights, all white columns and manicured hedges, the kind of place that suggested old money without ever saying it out loud. Maya stepped out of the rideshare just after 8:30. The sunlight caught her dress perfectly, the deep green fabric glowing against her skin. Her natural hair had been styled into tight, defined curls that framed her face just right. She adjusted the silver bracelet on her wrist and took a breath. "You look incredible," Jasmine said, looping her arm through Maya's. "Like, main character incredible." Tyler whistled softly behind them. Marcus wasn't kidding. "This place looks like something out of a magazine." Maya laughed, feeling lighter than she had in weeks. School had been relentless. News headlines had been exhausting. Tonight was supposed to be simple. Music, friends, no politics, no lectures, no reminding herself to be careful. Inside, the party was already alive. A DJ filled the house with bass-heavy music. Well-dressed guests moved through the space with drinks in hand. Catering staff floated between rooms, offering champagne and carefully plated appetizers. Laughter bounced off the high ceilings. Marcus spotted them immediately. "Maya, you made it," he said, pulling her into a hug. "I'm so glad you're here." "Happy birthday," she said. 25 looks good on you." "Eat, drink, do whatever," Marcus said. "Tonight's about fun." Her phone vibrated inside her clutch. "Mom." Maya glanced at the screen and declined the call. Jasmine noticed. "Again, she has some state policy thing tomorrow," Maya said casually. "Wants my opinion on a speech." "What does she do again?" Tyler asked. "Government stuff," Maya said, waving it off. "Boring." It wasn't a lie, just incomplete. They clinked glasses. Maya let herself relax, letting the music carry her, letting the stress slide off her shoulders. For 20 minutes, she was just another guest at a party. Then the tone changed. The man appeared near the kitchen like he owned the place. Tall, broad-shouldered, mid-30s, a beer bottle hanging loosely from his hand. The police union cap made him stand out immediately. Jasmine leaned in. "Why is there a cop here?" Tyler sighed. "That's Derek Walsh. Marcus' brother knows him. Off duty and drunk," Maya added quietly. Walsh's voice cut through the music, loud and confident, the kind of voice used to being obeyed. "Hey, Marcus," he called out. "Your brother said this was a classy party. Didn't know it was a charity event." A few people laughed. Nervous laughter, the kind that follows power. Marcus' smile tightened. "Everyone here was invited, Derek." Walsh took a long drink, his eyes scanning the room. They stopped on Maya. They lingered. Neighborhood's been changing, he said loudly. Gotta watch who you let in these days. The air shifted. The room felt colder. Maya turned away. Let's go outside, she said to Jasmine. But Walsh kept talking, loud enough to be heard. Used to be you knew everyone at parties like this, he said to his buddies. Now you gotta wonder who's casing the place. Tyler's jaw clenched. We should leave. No, Maya said. Her voice was firm. We were invited. Jasmine squeezed her hand. You sure? Maya nodded. Her mother's voice echoed in her head. Never let them see you rattled. Know your rights. Stand your ground. The party continued, but the feeling never fully returned. Maya danced. She laughed. She pretended not to notice Walsh watching her from across the room. Her phone buzzed again. Mom. She powered it off. One night, she whispered to herself. Just one. Around 10, Maya went to refill her water. The kitchen was nearly empty. The music thumped through the walls. Walsh stepped into the doorway, blocking her exit. Excuse me, Maya said evenly. He didn't move. You know what's funny? He said. You talk like you belong here. I was invited. So was I, he said, stepping closer. Difference is I actually know these people. The smell of beer and cologne hit her. What's your angle? He continued. Looking to hook a rich boy? Maya clenched her fists. Move. For a moment, it looked like he might. Then Tyler appeared behind him. Maya, you okay? Walsh stepped aside slowly, smiling without warmth. Just get to know the guest list, he said. Maya walked past, her heart pounding. She didn't know yet that Walsh had already decided how the night would end. 20 minutes later, blue and red lights flooded the windows of the Brooks mansion. 2 police cruisers rolled into the driveway, their sirens off, but lights flickering faintly in the dark. Maya froze mid-step, clutching her water glass. Walsh stepped out first, a beer bottle in one hand, the crooked union cap on his head, now leaning further to one side. Behind him, 2 uniformed officers followed. Barrett, young, white, fresh-faced, someone who still ironed his uniform like a soldier, and Brooks, older, Asian, eyes heavy with experience, a man who had seen enough to know the world rarely surprised him. Walsh met them in the foyer. His voice dropped low, but Maya caught enough words to make her stomach knot. Suspected narcotics, saw it myself. Black female, green dress, probable cause. Barrett's hand hovered near his duty belt. Where is she? He demanded. Walsh pointed directly at Maya. The DJ's hands froze over the turntable. Music cut abruptly. Conversations died mid-sentence. I snapped toward her. Barrett's voice tried to carry authority he clearly didn't feel. Miss, we need you to step outside. Maya set her glass down, her hands steady despite the sudden tension. What is this regarding? She asked, her voice calm. She walked slowly toward the door, every gaze pressing down on her back. Jasmine and Tyler moved to follow, but Brooks raised an arm, holding them back. The air outside was cooler now, smelling faintly of cut grass and chlorine from the pool. Barrett moved in front of her. We have reason to believe you're in possession of illegal narcotics. That's incorrect, Maya said evenly. Who made this accusation? Walsh stepped forward from the shadows, beer in hand. I did. I saw you. His lie hung thickly between them. Maya met his eyes without flinching. You're lying. Walsh flushed red. Now you're calling a police officer a liar? Bold move. I'm stating a fact. I don't have any drugs. I haven't used any drugs. You're making a false accusation. Barrett shifted uneasily. Then you won't mind if we search you? Actually, I do mind, Maya said, straightening her spine. Her voice rang clear, precise, the product of 3 years studying criminal justice at Emory. You need probable cause. Reasonable suspicion based on specific, articulable facts. Officer Walsh's unsupported statement doesn't meet that threshold. Walsh's beer bottle fell. Glass shattered across the driveway. You've been watching too much Law and Order, sweetheart, he sneered. I'm a criminal justice major, Maya said firmly. I know my rights. Walsh moved closer, the smell of beer and sweat heavy in the air. Your attitude is suspicious enough for me, he said. That's not how the law works, Maya shot back. Walsh grabbed her wrist, the same one he had held earlier, but this time harder. Pain shot up her arm. Turn around. You're being detained. On what grounds? Maya demanded. State the specific grounds for detention. Suspicion of drug possession. Failure to comply with a lawful order. That's enough for you. Maya's voice remained steady despite the pain radiating up her arm. You're using excessive force. I am not resisting. Tyler's voice cut through the tension from inside the house. She's not resisting. Let her go. Walsh yanked her arm behind her back. Maya gasped. Her shoulder protested painfully, unnatural and sharp. You're hurting me. I'm not resisting. This is excessive force. The metallic click of handcuffs echoed, cold steel biting into her wrists. She winced, the metal pressing painfully against her skin. My name is Maya Johnson, she said clearly, looking directly at the phones now visible in the windows. Remember that name? Walsh pulled her toward his truck, a private vehicle, not a patrol car. Her heels caught in the gravel. She stumbled, handcuffed, trying to maintain balance. Officer Walsh, badge number 4729. I want you to state why you're detaining me. You really want to do this here? He hissed, hot breath against her ear. In front of all your rich friends? I want you to follow the law, she said evenly. Marcus burst through the door. Officer, she was invited. This is my party. There's been some kind of mistake. Stay out of police business, son, Walsh snapped. Unless you want to join her. Inside, Jasmine held Maya's clutch. Her phone buzzed. 3 times. She answered. Hello. A calm, authoritative voice demanded. Who is this? Where's my daughter? Jasmine's hands trembled. Mia's being arrested. We're at 2247, Bellevue Heights. Walsh snatched the phone. Thumb jabbed the red button. The call died. No phone calls during detainment. He tossed it back at Jasmine. It bounced, cracked the screen, spiderwebbing across the glass. Maya, handcuffed, stood beside Walsh's truck, fingers going numb. He pressed her face against the metal bed. You're in my custody now. You follow my rules. Barrett shifted uneasily. Walsh, maybe we should. I'm handling this. Walsh interrupted. The crowd had swelled. 60 people now. Phones glowed like fireflies through the windows. Maya's dress rode up as Walsh pressed her against the truck. She tried to adjust it, impossible with her hands behind her. Please, my dress. Should have thought about that before you brought drugs to a party, Walsh sneered. I don't have drugs, she said firmly. We'll see at the station, Walsh countered. Tyler stepped forward, phone raised. I've recorded everything. It's backing up to the cloud. You want to be arrested too? Walsh said. Obstruction of justice is a felony. Recording police is legal. First Amendment. Tyler held the phone steady. Walsh smiled without warmth. Doesn't matter. Video or no video, it's your word against the cops. Guess which one the court believes. He grabbed her wrists, yanking her toward the truck. Pain shot through her shoulders. She bit back a cry. Time for your ride downtown, Walsh said. I have the right to know the charges, Maya said clearly. Possession, resisting arrest, disorderly conduct. You keep talking and I'll threaten a peace officer, Walsh sneered. I haven't threatened anyone, she replied calmly. Sure sounded like a threat. Barrett, you hear that? Walsh looked at his fellow officers. Neither met his eyes. He opened the back door of the truck, a Ford F-150 with a thin blue line sticker. You can't transport me in a personal vehicle, Maya said. Her feet planted firmly despite the handcuffs. You really are a law and order expert, Walsh hissed. He shoved her toward the truck. She planted her feet. Handcuffs made balancing impossible. He swept her legs out from under her. Maya crashed onto concrete. Knees screamed. Fabric tore, blood bloomed. Gasps erupted. Someone screamed. She knelt there, handcuffed, in pain, covered in blood and dirt. Are you going to help me up? She asked. Walsh looked down. You fell. Not my problem. Barrett's voice muttered. That's not what I saw. Did you see me knock her down? Walsh demanded, turning to Barrett. Barrett looked away, unable to meet Walsh's gaze. The angle, the evidence, everything pointed in Maya's favor. Walsh's confidence wavered for the first time. Now, get up. Stop making a scene. Walsh snapped, grabbing her arm again. Maya struggled, handcuffed behind her back, her knees screaming in pain. She forced one foot under her and pushed upward, her heel catching on the torn hem of her dress. She wobbled but didn't fall. Tyler rushed forward instinctively. "Let me help," he said. Walsh's taser snapped free from its holster. "Step back, or you're next," he barked. The red laser danced across Tyler's chest. Tyler froze, heart pounding. "Walsh, put that away," Officer Brooks finally said. "This is excessive." "Is it?" Walsh sneered. He was advancing on an officer. I felt threatened. Tyler wasn't advancing. He was offering help. The crowd erupted into shouts, overlapping voices. "This is wrong. Call a lawyer." Police brutality. Maya finally managed to stand. Blood soaked through her dress, fabric hanging in strips. Her hair, once neatly done, was loose and wild. She looked at Walsh directly. "You're going to regret this." "Yeah? Who's going to make me regret it?" Walsh sneered, but Maya's confidence, unwavering in the chaos, made him hesitate. He holstered his taser with a scowl. "I've been doing this 15 years. Nothing ever happens." "Everything's different now," Maya said. There was certainty in her tone that unsettled Walsh. She wasn't afraid. She was resolute. "Get in the truck," Walsh ordered. "No," Maya replied sharply. Walsh grabbed her arm. She pulled back. "I am not resisting," she said loudly, for everyone to hear. "I am simply refusing an illegal order. You cannot transport me in a personal vehicle. You cannot." Without warning, Walsh's palm connected with Maya's face. Her head snapped sideways, blood spilling from her mouth. Her lips split. The crowd fell silent, shocked at the audacity. "You just committed battery in front of 60 witnesses," she said, steady despite the pain. "I never touched you," Walsh stammered. Every phone recording the scene told a different story. Marcus' phone rang. He answered, desperate. "Derek, you need to leave right now," he warned. "Last chance," Walsh thought. "Get in voluntarily, or I'll drag you in." "I want your supervisor," Maya demanded. "You'll meet supervisors at the station," Walsh said smugly. Across the street, motorcycles purred quietly. Headlights flickered, sirens faint but approaching. The first Georgia State Patrol units arrived, blue lights cutting through the night. SUVs followed, bulletproof, official, and authoritative. 3 men in suits stepped out, hands near their holstered weapons, eyes scanning the crowd. Walsh's confidence cracked. He wasn't prepared for this. A second Suburban arrived, followed by 3 women in suits, professional and imposing. One carried a leather portfolio with an official seal. Then, a Cadillac Escalade stopped at the center of the driveway. The Georgia state flag fluttered on the hood, license plate reading Governor 1. Walsh went pale. A GMC Yukon followed, lawyers and photographers emerging, capturing every moment. The lead security agent, a 6 feet 4 inches African-American man built like a linebacker, stepped forward. His voice cut through the silence. Everyone backed 10 feet. The crowd obeyed immediately. 6 agents formed a protective perimeter around the Escalade. The photographer began snapping photos of Maya's torn dress, bloody knees, handcuffs, and split lip. The woman with the tablet typed furiously, updating social media instantly. Breaking: Governor Johnson responding to incident involving her daughter at private residence, Bellevue Heights. Walsh tried to step forward. "Ma'am, this is a police matter." The lead agent blocked him, his presence alone enough to stop Walsh. Barrett grabbed his arm. "That's the governor's motorcade," he whispered. "The governor of Georgia," Walsh muttered, eyes darting between Maya, the handcuffs, and the arriving Escalade. The rear door opened. A Christian Louboutin heel touched the pavement first, black leather, red sole. Governor Patricia Johnson stepped out, 5 feet 9 inches without heels, exuding authority that commanded absolute attention. Tailored black Tom Ford suit, diamond studs catching the light, every hair in place. She moved directly toward Maya, ignoring Walsh and the crowd, decades of practiced authority emanating from her every step. 2 agents flanked her. The photographer followed, capturing every moment. Walsh's mouth opened. Nothing came out. Governor Johnson stopped before Maya. For 3 seconds, she simply looked, taking in the handcuffs, the blood, the torn dress, the split lip. Her jaw tightened, the only sign of rage beneath her calm. She placed a hand gently on Maya's cheek. Her thumb brushed the blood away. "Baby, are you hurt?" Maya's composure cracked. Just a little, she admitted, a small smile breaking through the fear and pain. The crowd whispered in astonishment. Cameras flashed incessantly. Governor Johnson straightened and turned to Walsh. He stood frozen, beer-stained shirt, crooked cap, face cycling through colors. "I'm Governor Patricia Johnson," she said, her voice cold, hard, absolute. "And you just assaulted my daughter." Walsh's hand moved toward his belt instinctively. Barrett grabbed his wrist. "Don't make it worse," he muttered. The silence thickened, heavy like a storm about to strike. Walsh's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Nothing came out. Governor Johnson's eyes never left him. She commanded authority without raising her voice. "Officer Barrett, Officer Brooks, remove those handcuffs from my daughter now." Barrett's hands shook as he fumbled for the keys. Metal clicked, once, twice, then the cuffs finally released. Maya brought her hands forward, rubbing her wrists, deep red grooves marking where the metal had bitten into her skin. Circulation slowly returned, prickling painfully. Governor Johnson inspected her daughter's wrists, jaw clenched tighter. She pulled out her government-issued phone and began photographing Maya's injuries. Close-ups of wrists, knees, torn dress, and split lip. Each flash illuminated the damage. Maya reassured her mother softly. "I'm okay, Mom." "You're not," Governor Johnson said, voice granite. She turned to her lawyer, Rebecca Brooks. "Documentation," she ordered. Rebecca began noting every detail efficiently. "Date, time, location, witnesses." Walsh finally found his voice. "Governor Johnson, I didn't know she was your daughter," he stammered. Governor Johnson's gaze could have frozen fire. "You didn't know? Let me be very clear, Officer Walsh. You assaulted my daughter not because she is the governor's daughter. You assaulted her because she's black, because you thought she was powerless, because you've been doing this to people who don't have mothers who can make phone calls." Walsh stepped back instinctively, realizing the magnitude of the storm he had walked into. "Badge number 4729. Is that correct?" Governor Johnson asked. "Yes, ma'am," he replied, voice cracking. "Don't call me ma'am. I'm not your mother. I'm the governor of Georgia. You will address me as Governor Johnson." "Yes, Governor Johnson," Walsh whispered, shaking. The lead security agent handed her a tablet. She swiped through multiple screens. "Officer Derek Walsh, 15 years with the Atlanta Police Department, 23 complaints, 18 involving black or Latino individuals, all dismissed or marked unfounded." "Explain that pattern to me," Governor Johnson demanded. Walsh's mouth moved, silent, failing. "The complaints were investigated according to protocol," he muttered weakly. "The same protocol that protected you while you terrorized my community," she shot back, voice sharp, controlled, deadly. She turned to Barrett and Brooks. "Did Officer Walsh provide you with any evidence before you arrived?" Barrett swallowed. "He called it in. Said he witnessed suspicious activity. Did he show drugs? Point to specific behavior? Provide any corroboration?" Silence. "No, Governor. So you arrested my daughter solely on the word of an intoxicated off-duty officer with a history of racial profiling?" Barrett's face reddened. "We didn't know about his file." "That's worse," Governor Johnson said sharply. She dialed her phone. "Commissioner Bradley, Patricia Johnson. I need you at 247 Bellevue Heights immediately. One of your officers committed battery, false arrest, and civil rights violations against my daughter. 10 minutes. No excuses." She hung up. Tyler stepped forward. "Governor Johnson, I have video of everything." "Send it to my office," she said, rattling off email addresses. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Everyone who recorded footage was asked to send it immediately. Walsh tried one last time. "Governor, please, this is a misunderstanding." Governor Johnson's laugh was sharp, humorless. "You saw a black woman at a party in a white neighborhood and assumed she didn't belong. You fabricated probable cause. You assaulted her, handcuffed her, knocked her to the ground, struck her across the face. All documented." Movement caught her attention. Another car pulled in. A black Crown Victoria with exempt plates. Police Commissioner Marcus Bradley stepped out, pale, seeing the motorcade, the governor, and Maya's injuries. Walsh's face paled further. His world, carefully controlled for years, was collapsing. Because you assaulted her not for who she is, but because of who she is, Governor Johnson continued, her voice sharp, unyielding. Badge number 4729. Correct. Yes, ma'am. I mean, Governor Johnson. Walsh stammered, sweat beading on his forehead despite the cool night air. His Union cap sat crooked, his confidence unraveling with every word. I'm not your mother. I'm the governor of Georgia. Address me as Governor Johnson, she said, voice cutting through the tension like a blade. Yes, Governor Johnson, he whispered, barely audible. The lead security agent handed her a tablet. Governor Johnson swiped through screen after screen, each flick of her finger revealing more evidence. Derek Walsh, 15 years with the Atlanta Police Department, 23 complaints filed against him. 18 involved Black or Latino individuals. All dismissed, all marked unfounded. She looked up, eyes cold. Explain that pattern to me, she said. Walsh opened his mouth, then closed it. Nothing came out. He realized, for the first time, he had no control over the narrative. The complaints were investigated according to protocol, he finally whispered. The same protocol that lets officers investigate their friends. The same protocol that let you terrorize my community for 15 years, Governor Johnson shot back. Her voice could strip paint. She turned to Barrett and Brooks. Did Officer Walsh provide any evidence before you arrived? She asked. Barrett swallowed. Did he call it in? Said he witnessed suspicious activity. Did he show you drugs? Point to specific behavior? Any corroboration? Silence. No, Governor, Barrett admitted. So you arrested my daughter solely based on the word of an off-duty officer with a history of racial profiling? Barrett flushed. We didn't know about his file. That's worse, Governor Johnson said, cutting him off. She pulled out her phone. A single call connected immediately. Commissioner Bradley, Patricia Johnson. I need you at 247 Bellevue Heights Drive immediately. One of your officers has committed battery, false arrest, and civil rights violations against my daughter in front of witnesses. 10 minutes. No excuses. She hung up without a word. Tyler stepped forward. Governor Johnson, I have video of everything, from the first grab to now. Send it to my office, she ordered. Her fingers flew over her phone. Post it publicly. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Jasmine raised her hand tentatively. I have footage too, and I recorded part of your phone call before Officer Walsh grabbed it. Send everything, Governor Johnson replied. Every angle, every second. The woman with the tablet typed furiously, sending official instructions to every witness in the crowd. Within seconds, dozens of phones chimed with her request. Walsh tried to intervene. Governor, please. This is a misunderstanding. Governor Johnson laughed, humorless and sharp. You saw a black woman at a party in a white neighborhood and assumed she didn't belong. You fabricated probable cause. You called for backup to lend credibility to your lie. You assaulted her, handcuffed her, knocked her to the ground, struck her across the face. All documented on dozens of cameras. The sound of an engine interrupted. A black Crown Victoria with exempt plates approached. Police Commissioner Marcus Bradley stepped out. White, seasoned, a career politician who had risen quietly through careful networking. He saw the motorcade, the governor, and Maya's bloody knees. His face drained of color. Governor Johnson, he said, approaching, hand extended. She didn't take it. Commissioner, your officer assaulted my daughter, she said. Bradley turned to Walsh. Derek, tell me this isn't what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like, Governor Johnson cut in. 15 years, 23 complaints marked unfounded. Tonight, that pattern ends. Bradley's hand dropped to his side, white-knuckled. Governor, I assure you, we will conduct a thorough investigation. Oh, you will, she said coldly, but not your department. The State Attorney General and the FBI Civil Rights Division will handle this. The words hit Walsh like thunder. He paled, suspended immediately. No pay, no benefits. One misstep near a uniform or weapon, and Bradley would be held accountable too. I want his body cam footage from every shift for the past 5 years. I want patrol logs. Internal Affairs will open a comprehensive investigation into every officer who worked with him, supervised him, or signed off on dismissing complaints. Governor, that could take months, Bradley protested weakly. Then start now, she said. Rebecca Brooks, her lawyer, stepped forward. Governor, we've identified 3 prior victims of Officer Walsh who could testify. 3 people emerged from the crowd. First, a black woman in her 30s. My name is Latoya Henderson, she said, voice trembling. 2 years ago, Officer Walsh pulled me over, said I matched a description. He searched my car without consent. When I asked for his badge number, he called me a racial slur. Governor Johnson's expression didn't change, but her eyes hardened. Next, a Latino man in his 40s. Roberto Santos. Officer Walsh broke up my son's birthday party. He said we were too loud, threw my brother against the car. 3 broken ribs. We filed a complaint. Nothing happened. Finally, a black teenager, Jamil Thompson, 18. He stopped me walking home from school, handcuffed me for 2 hours. I missed my mother's surgery. Walsh's face went from red to white to gray-green. Recognition and terror played across his features. Governor Johnson addressed her aide. Marcus, get their full statements. Provide legal representation, pro bono. State resources will cover it. Bradley moved away, calling his own lawyers. Do you hear that, Officer Walsh? These are your victims, brave enough to come forward. How many more remained silent out of fear? Walsh shook visibly, hands trembling, breathing shallow and rapid. I'm sorry, he whispered. Sorry for what? Being caught? You never meant to hurt anyone? You meant every bit of it. You abused power, terrorized your own community, and the system protected you. That stops tonight. Walsh convulsed, panic overtaking him. Then the first dark stain appeared at his crotch, spreading down his legs. The smell hit, the unmistakable stench of humiliation. The crowd remained silent, witnessing justice in motion. Governor Johnson did not laugh. She turned to Agent Cole. Get him out of my sight. 2 patrol cars arrived. 4 officers stepped out, seeing Walsh curled in his own humiliation, Commissioner Bradley and Governor Johnson. Cuff him, Bradley ordered quietly. Walsh offered no resistance. Arms behind his back, same handcuff position he forced on Maya. The crowd parted, clapping hesitantly at first, then louder, as Walsh was led away, broken, defeated. Maya, her mother's arm around her, watched silently. Tyler and Jasmine flanked her, absorbing the gravity of the moment. Walsh looked back once at Maya. Fear, shame, realization all visible. She didn't smile. She didn't gloat. She simply nodded once. Now, everyone understood. The predator had been caught, and justice was unfolding before their eyes. Maya didn't smile, didn't gloat. She simply nodded once. Now you know how it feels. Her gaze steady. The patrol car door closed behind Officer Walsh. The tinted windows swallowed him, tail lights fading into the night. The crowd's applause rose, swelling louder as the gravity of the moment sank in, then slowly diminished into a respectful silence. Governor Johnson turned to her daughter, ice replaced by concern. Let me see your knees, she said softly. Maya lifted the torn emerald dress. Dark, dried blood crusted over scrapes. Gravel embedded under the skin glinted under the porch lights. The governor's nostrils flared, a controlled rage beneath the surface. We need to get you to a hospital. I'm okay, Maya said, trying to mask the pain. You're not, her mother replied firmly. Agent Cole moved forward efficiently, followed by a medic in plain clothes from one of the SUVs, red medical kit in hand. She knelt before Maya, antiseptic and gauze ready. The sting made Maya hiss. Sorry, the medic murmured. Marcus pushed through the crowd, face ashen, hands trembling. Governor Johnson. Maya, I am so sorry. I never thought Derek would, he faltered. Governor Johnson's voice softened slightly. Marcus, you called for help when it mattered. You stood up. That took courage. I should have removed him when he started, yes. But it's what you do next that matters. Marcus nodded solemnly. I'll never let something like this happen again. Jasmine and Tyler arrived at Maya's side. Jasmine's voice broke. Girl, I thought when he hit you, Maya reached for her hand. I'm okay. Really, Maya said, trying to reassure her friends. You're not okay. Your face is bleeding. Your knees, they're destroyed, Jasmine said. I'm alive. That matters, Maya whispered. Governor Johnson placed her hand on their shoulders. You were there. You recorded when it mattered. You acted. That counts. Engines announced new arrivals. News vans, Channel 2, Channel 5, CNN's local affiliate. Reporters flooded the lawn, cameras and satellite dishes unfurling, lights blazing and turning night into artificial day. Sarah Kim, the governor's communications director, intercepted them. Governor Johnson will make a brief statement in 5 minutes. No questions until then. A portable podium with the seal of Georgia in gold against black was set up where Maya had been assaulted. Microphones bristled. Governor Johnson stepped behind the podium, commanding attention effortlessly. Tonight, my daughter, Maya Johnson, was illegally detained, physically assaulted, and had her civil rights violated by Officer Derek Walsh of the Atlanta Police Department, she began, voice firm and clear. She was handcuffed without probable cause, knocked to the ground while restrained, struck across the face, all captured on multiple cameras by multiple witnesses. She paused. Let that sink in. But Maya is one of the lucky ones. She had a mother who could make a phone call. She had friends who recorded evidence. She had the privilege of connections and education. How many others don't? The question hung heavy in the air. Officer Walsh has been arrested and will face criminal charges. But this is not just about one bad officer. This is about a system that protected him for 15 years while he terrorized the community he was supposed to serve. Rebecca Brooks stepped forward with a prepared statement. Governor Johnson glanced at it, then set it aside. She was speaking from the heart now. Effective immediately, I am directing the state attorney general to investigate the Atlanta Police Department for patterns of civil rights violations. I am calling an emergency session of the state legislature to pass comprehensive police accountability reform. Citizen oversight boards with real power, body cameras that cannot be disabled, and an independent prosecutor's office for police misconduct cases. Reporters scribbled furiously. Additionally, I am creating a task force to review every complaint filed against Officer Walsh and officers like him. Every victim will have access to state resources. Every case reopened with fresh eyes. A reporter raised her hand, but Governor Johnson ignored her. She wasn't finished. My daughter told me she believes in the system's potential, not its current reality. That is the difference between hope and naivety. Hope demands action. Hope demands change. She looked directly into the cameras. I'm the governor of Georgia. I have power, resources, a platform, and I will use all of it to make sure no parent has to watch their child be brutalized by the people we trust to protect us. Questions came, hands raised. Governor, will you be filing a civil suit? Yes, both criminal and civil complaints. What about Officer Walsh's pension? If convicted, Georgia law allows forfeiture of pension benefits. I will ensure that happens. Critics might say you're using your position to get special treatment. Governor Johnson's eyes hardened. My position is the only reason my daughter got justice tonight. That is not a defense of the system. That is an indictment of it. The press conference continued for 10 minutes before she cut it off. Full statements will be available through my office in the morning, she said. Then she walked back to Maya, who now had her knees wrapped in white gauze. Come on, baby. Let's go home, the governor said. Tyler and Jasmine followed. Latoya, Roberto, and Jamil, the Bellevue Three, stood nearby, having formed an impromptu support group from shared trauma. Maya approached them. Thank you for speaking up, for being brave. Latoya's eyes welled. No, thank you. For 15 years, I thought nobody would believe me. Tonight, I believed. Roberto nodded. My brother has PTSD from what Walsh did. Maybe now we get closure. Jamil added, I'm going to be a cop, a good one, because of tonight. Someone has to change things from inside. Governor Johnson placed her hand on his shoulder. The system needs people like you. People who've seen its failures and still believe it can be better. Tyler checked his phone. Maya, the video has 3 million views. Less than an hour. Jasmine showed her screen. Trending #1 nationally. Hashtag Justice for Maya. Accountability matters. Marcus appeared, phone in hand. Governor, I want to donate to organizations fighting police brutality. Others want it too. Can your office provide a list? Her aide typed instantly. Sending it now. An impromptu fundraiser began on the lawn. Phones out. Venmo, Cash App, credit cards, hundreds, thousands pledged. Maya watched wide-eyed. Governor Johnson leaned close. You did this. Your courage, your refusal to back down. I was just trying to survive, Maya whispered. You did more than survive. You fought back. Everyone saw it, her mother said, kissing her forehead. Your father would be so proud. I wish he was here, Maya said softly. He is, always, Governor Johnson reassured her. They stood together, surrounded by their community and witnesses. Justice, in that moment, had been made real. 6 months later, Maya stood at the Georgia State Capitol, sunlight streaming through tall windows. She had graduated summa cum laude in criminal justice from Emory University. Today wasn't a celebration. It was a hearing room packed with senators, representatives, reporters, and citizens waiting for her testimony on House Bill 2847, the Community Police Accountability Act. My name is Maya Johnson, she began, voice steady, clear. 6 months ago, I was assaulted by a police officer at a birthday party. Handcuffed without cause, knocked to the ground, struck across the face. My crime? Being black in a neighborhood where someone decided I didn't belong. The room was silent. Every eye fixed on her. Officer Derek Walsh is currently serving a 4-year prison sentence, permanently banned from law enforcement. He lost his pension and paid a $2.3 million civil settlement. 14 previous victims have now received settlements. 3 officers who helped cover up his behavior were fired. The police commissioner retired, and internal affairs was restructured. This is what happens when we stop protecting bad cops and start protecting communities. 2 weeks later, House Bill 2847 passed. Governor Johnson signed it with Maya standing beside her. The video of her arrest had 47 million views, becoming a teaching tool at police academies nationwide. 47 states introduced similar legislation. Latoya, Roberto, and Jamil formed the Bellevue 3, an advocacy group operating in 15 cities. Maya joined the state attorney general's Civil Rights Division. Her first assignment, Walsh's case files. She became a national spokesperson, testifying before Congress, appearing on news shows, speaking at universities with one message. The system isn't broken. It's working as designed. The question is whether we accept that design. Maya's story ended with accountability, reform, and hope. Thousands of others don't. But her courage showed what happens when people refuse to stay silent. Her story became a beacon, proof that change is possible when we demand justice and support each other.